Orange is the color between red and yellow on the spectrum of light, and in the traditional color wheel used by painters. Its name is derived from the fruit orange. In Europe and America, surveys show that orange is the color most associated with amusement, the unconventional, extroverts, warmth, fire, energy, activity, danger, taste and aroma, the autumn season, and Protestantism, as well as having long been the national color of the Netherlands and the House of Orange. In Asia, it is an important symbolic color of Buddhism and Hinduism. In nature and culture. Etymology. The color orange is named after the appearance of the ripe orange fruit. The word comes from the Old French orange, from the old term for the fruit, pomme d'orange. The French word, in turn, comes from the Italian arancia, based on Arabic nara, derived from the Sanskrit naranga. The first recorded use of orange as a color name in English was in 1512, in a will now filed with the Public Record Office. Before this word was introduced to the English-speaking world, saffron already existed in the English language. Krog also referred to the saffron color, so that orange was also referred to as giallo-red for reddish-orange, or giallo-krog for yellowish-orange. Alternatively, orange things were sometimes described as red, such as red deer, red hare, the red planet and robin redbreast. History and art. In ancient Egypt, artists used an orange mineral pigment called realga for tomb paintings, as well as other uses. It was also used later by medieval artists for the coloring of manuscripts. Pigments were also made in ancient times from a mineral known as orpiment. Orpiment was an important item of trade in the Roman Empire and was used as a medicine in China, although it contains arsenic and is highly toxic. It was also used as a fly poison and to poison arrows. Because of its yellow-orange color, it was also a favorite with alchemists searching for a way to make gold, both in China and the West. Before the late 15th century, the color orange existed in Europe, but without the name, it was simply called yellow-red. Portuguese merchants brought the first orange trees to Europe from Asia in the late 15th and early 16th century, along with the Sanskrit naranga, which gradually became orange in English. In parts of Germany, the Netherlands, and Russia, the orange fruit was and is still called the Chinese apple. The House of Orange. The House of Orange Nassau was one of the most influential royal houses in Europe in the 16th and 17th centuries. It originated in 1163. The tiny Principality of Orange, a feudal state of 108 square miles north of Avignon in southern France. The Principality of Orange took its name not from the fruit, but from a Roman Celtic settlement on the site which was founded in 36 or 35 BC and was named Ariccio, after a Celtic water god. However, the name may have been slightly altered, and the town associated with the color, because it was on the route by which quantities of oranges were brought from southern ports such as Marseille to northern France. The family of the Prince of Orange eventually adopted the name and the color orange. The color came to be associated with Protestantism, due to participation by the House of Orange on the Protestant side in the French Wars of Religion. One member of the house, William I of Orange, organized the Dutch resistance against Spain, a war that lasted for 80 years, until the Netherlands won its independence. Another member, William III of Orange, became King of England in 1689, after the downfall of the Catholic James II. Due to William III, orange became an important political color in Britain and Europe. William was a Protestant, and as such he defended the Protestant minority of Ireland against the majority Roman Catholic population. As a result, the Protestants of Ireland were known as Orangemen. Orange eventually became one of the colours of the Irish flag, symbolising the Protestant heritage. When the Dutch settlers of South Africa rebelled against the British in the late 19th century, they organised what they called the Orange free state. In the United States, the flag of the city of New York has an orange stripe, to remember the Dutch colonists who founded the city. William of Orange is also remembered as the founder of the College of William and Amp Mary, and Nassau County in New York is named after the House of Orange Nassau. The American presidential candidate, Donald Trump, traces his ancestry to the House of Orange. 18th and 19th century. In the 18th century, orange was sometimes used to depict the robes of Pomona, the goddess of fruitful abundance. Her name came from the pomen, the Latin word for fruit. Oranges themselves became more common in northern Europe, thanks to the 17th century invention of the heated greenhouse, a building type which became known as an orangery. The French artist Jean-Honoré Fragonard depicted an allegorical figure of inspiration, dressed in orange. In 1797, a French scientist Louis Vauquelin discovered the mineral crocoid, or lead chromate, which led in 1809 to the invention of the synthetic pigment chrome-orange. Other synthetic pigments, cobalt red, cobalt yellow, and cobalt orange, the last made from cadmium sulfide plus cadmium selenide, soon followed. These new pigments, plus the invention of the metal paint tube in 1841, made it possible for artists to paint outdoors and to capture the colors of natural light. In Britain, orange became highly popular with the Pre-Raphaelites and with history painters. The flowing red-orange hair of Elizabeth Siddal, the wife of painter Dante Gabriel Rossetti, became a symbol of the Pre-Raphaelite movement. Lord Leighton, the president of the Royal Academy, produced Flaming June, a painting of a sleeping young woman in a bright orange dress, which won wide acclaim. Albert Joseph Moore painted festive scenes of Romans wearing orange cloaks brighter than any the Romans ever likely wore. In the United States, Winslow Homer brightened his palette with vivid oranges. In France, painters took orange in an entirely different direction. In 1872, Claude Monet painted Impression Sunrise, a tiny orange sun and some orange light reflected on the clouds and water in the center of a hazy blue landscape. This painting gave its name to the Impressionist movement. Orange became an important color for all the Impressionist painters. They all had studied the recent books on color theory, and they know that orange placed next to azure blue made both colors much brighter. Auguste Renoir painted boats with stripes of chrome orange paint straight from the tube. Paul Cézanne did not use orange pigment but created his own oranges with touches of yellow, red and ochre against a blue background. Toulouse-Lautrec often used oranges in the skirts of dances and gowns of Parisienne in the cafes and clubs he portrayed. For him it was the color of festivity and amusement. The post-impressionists went even further with orange. Paul Gauguin used oranges as backgrounds for clothing and skin color to fill his pictures with light and exoticism. But no other painter used orange so often and dramatically as Vincent van Gogh, who had shared a house with Gauguin in Arles for a time. To Van Gogh, orange and yellow were the pure sunlight of Provence. He created his own oranges with mixtures of yellow, ochre and red, and placed them next to slashes of sienna red and bottle green, and below a sky of turbulent blue and violet. He put an orange moon and stars in a cobalt blue sky. He wrote to his brother Theo of searching for oppositions of blue with orange, of red with green, of yellow with violet, searching for broken colors and neutral colors to harmonize the brutality of extremes, trying to make the colors intense, and not a harmony of grays. 20th and 21st centuries. In the 20th and 21st centuries, the color orange had highly varied associations, both positive and negative. The high visibility of orange made it a popular color for certain kinds of clothing and equipment. During the Second World War, U.S. Navy pilots in the Pacific began to wear orange inflatable life jackets, which could be spotted by search and rescue planes. After the war, these jackets became common on both civilian and naval vessels of all sizes, and on aircraft that flew over the water. Orange was also widely worn by workers on highways and by cyclists to avoid being hit by cars, and for the flight suits of the crews of the Space Shuttle and the International Space Station. A herbicide called Agent Orange was widely sprayed from aircraft by the Royal Air Force during the Malayan emergency and the U.S. Air Force during the Vietnam War to remove the forest and jungle cover beneath which enemy combatants were believed to be hiding, and to expose the supply routes. The chemical was not actually orange, but took its name from the color of the steel drums in which it was stored. Agent Orange was toxic, and was later linked to birth defects and other health problems. Orange also had a political dimension. In Ukraine in November to December 2004, it became the color of the Orange Revolution, a popular movement which carried activist and reformer Viktor Yushchenko into the presidency. Science. Optics. In optics, orange is the color seen by the eye when looking at light with a wavelength between approximately 585 to 620 nanometers. It has a hue of 30 degrees in HSV color space. In the traditional color wheel used by painters, orange is the range of colors between red and yellow, and painters can obtain orange simply by mixing red and yellow in various proportions. However, these colors are never as vivid as a pure orange. Pigment. In the RGB color model, orange is generated by combining high-intensity red light with a lower-intensity green light, with the blue light turned off entirely. Orange is a tertiary color which is numerically halfway between gamma compressed red and yellow, as can be seen in the RGB color wheel. Regarding painting, blue is the complementary color to orange. As many painters of the 19th century discovered, blue and orange reinforce each other. The painter Vincent van Gogh wrote to his brother Theo that in his paintings, he was trying to reveal the oppositions of blue with orange, of red with green, of yellow with violet, trying to make the colors intense and not a harmony of gray. In another letter he wrote simply, "There is no orange without blue." The Van Gogh, Pierre-Auguste Renoir and many other Impressionist and Post-Impressionist painters frequently placed orange against azure or cobalt blue, to make both colors appear brighter. The actual complement of orange is azure, a color that is 1/4 of the way between blue and green on the color spectrum. The actual complementary color of true blue is yellow. Orange pigments are largely in the ochre or cadmium families, and absorb mostly greenish blue light. Pigments and dyes. Other orange pigments include minium and massicot, are bright yellow and orange pigments made since ancient times by heating lead oxide and its variants. Minium was used in the Byzantine Empire for making the red-orange color on illuminated manuscripts, while massicot was used by ancient Egyptian scribes and in the Middle Ages. Both were toxic, and were replaced in the beginning of the 20th century by chrome orange and cadmium orange. Cadmium orange is a synthetic pigment made cadmium sulfide. It is a byproduct of mining for zinc, but also occurs rarely in nature in the mineral greenockite. It is usually made by replacing some of the sulfur with selenium, which results in an expensive but deep and lasting color. Selenium was discovered in 1817, but the pigment was not made commercially until 1910. Quinacridone orange is a synthetic organic pigment first identified in 1896 and manufactured in 1935. It makes a vivid and solid orange. Dictopyrrolopyrrole orange, a DPP orange, is a synthetic organic pigment first commercialized in 1986. It is sold under various commercial names, such as translucent orange, It makes an extremely bright and lasting orange, and is widely used to color plastics and fibers, as well as in paints. Why carrots, pumpkins, oranges and autumn leaves are orange? The orange color of carrots, pumpkins, sweet potatoes, oranges, and many other fruits and vegetables comes from carotenes, a type of photosynthetic pigment. These pigments convert the light energy that the plants absorb from the sun into chemical energy for the plant's growth. The carotenes themselves take the name from the carrot. Autumn leaves also get their orange color from carotenes. When the weather turns cold and the green chlorophyll stops flowing, the orange color remains. Before the 18th century, carrots from Asia were usually purple, while those in Europe were either white or red. Dutch farmers bred a variety that was orange, according to some sources, as a tribute to the stadtholder of Holland and Zeeland, William of Orange. The long orange Dutch carrot, first described in 1721, is the ancestor of the orange horn carrot, one of the most common types found in supermarkets today. It takes its name from the town of Hoorn, in the Netherlands. Flowers. Orange is traditionally associated with the autumn season, with the harvest and autumn leaves. The flowers, like orange fruits and vegetables and autumn leaves, get their color from the photosynthetic pigments called carotenes. Animals. Foods. Orange is a very common color of fruits, vegetables, spices, and other foods in many different cultures. As a result, orange is the color most often associated in Western culture with taste and aroma. Orange foods include peaches, apricots, mangoes, carrots, shrimp, salmon roe, and many other foods. Orange color is provided by spices such as paprika, saffron, and curry powder. In the United States, with Halloween on the 31st of October, and in North America with Thanksgiving in October and November, orange is associated with the harvest color, and also is the color of the carved pumpkins, or jack-o'-lanterns, used to celebrate the holiday. Food colorings. People associate certain colors with certain flavors, and the color of food can influence the perceived flavor in anything from candy to wine. Since orange is popularly associated with good flavor, many companies add orange food coloring to improve the appearance of the packaged foods. Orange pigments and dyes, synthetic and natural, are added to many orange sodas and juices, cheeses, snack foods, butter and margarine, breakfast cereals, ice cream, yogurt, jam and candy. It is also often added to children's medicine and to chicken feed to make the egg yolks more orange. The United States government and the European Union certify a small number of synthetic chemical colorings to be used in food. These are usually aromatic hydrocarbons, or azo dyes, made from petroleum. The most common ones are Allura Red AC, Sunset Yellow FCF, Yellow 6, and Red 40, known as E110 in Europe, are dyes made from aromatic hydrocarbons from petroleum. Tartrazine, also known as Yellow 5 and E102 in Europe, a dye used in soft drinks such as Mountain Dew, Kool-Aid, chewing gum, popcorn, breakfast cereals, cosmetics, shampoos, eyeshadow, blush, and lipstick. Orange B is an azo dye approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, but only for hot dog and sausage casings. Citrus Red 2 is certified only to color orange peels. Because many consumers are worried about possible health consequences of synthetic dyes, some companies are beginning to use natural food colors. Since these food colors are natural, they do not require any certification from the Food and Drug Administration. The most popular natural food colors are annatto, made from the seeds of the ashio tree. Annatto contains carotenoids, the same ingredient that gives carrots and other vegetables their orange color. Annatto has been used to dye certain cheeses in Britain, particularly Gloucester cheese, since the 16th century. It is now commonly used to color American cheese, snack foods, breakfast cereal, butter and margarine. It is used as a body paint by native populations in Central and South America. In India, women often put it under the name sindoor on the hairline to indicate that they are married. Turmeric is a common spice in South Asia, Persia and the Mideast. It contains the pigments called curcuminoids, widely used as a dye for the robes of Buddhist monks. It is also often used in curry powders and to give flavor to mustard. It is now being used more frequently in Europe and the US to give an orange color to canned beverages, ice cream, yogurt, popcorn and breakfast cereal. The food color is usually listed as E100. Paprika oleoresin contains natural carotenoids and is made from chili peppers. It is used to color cheese, orange juice, spice mixtures and packaged sauces. It is also fed to chickens to make their egg yolks more orange.